Well, welcome to First Baptist Church, Lake City. My name is Pastor Brendan McMillan, and I am very grateful that some of you have come. That is an awesome thing. I didn't know what to expect, and sure enough, we still are able to have church and worship together. I'll give a brief explanation and some announcements before we jump right in. So thank you so much. What's your name? Becca. Thank you, Becca. Thank you so much. That was a treat. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of what has happened, those who are joining with us via live stream, the church showed up anyway, sorry. So I had put out an email just recently, yesterday, and I'll go ahead and read it to you just to kind of give an understanding of what has happened. There's nothing major or big or anything like that. It's just as a shepherd, I do my due diligence to make sure that we are doing everything that we know how to do to make sure that not only our congregation but our community is comfortable. So I'll go ahead and read this, and it will be self-explanatory, and I'll ad-lib where necessary. It says, "Dear church family, it has come to our surprise that many of our members and children have come in close and regular contact with a person who recently tested positive for COVID-19 during Vacation Bible School. We had Vacation Bible School this past week, all children running everywhere, and it was great. Pastor Kevin Myers, the pastor of Highlands Park Baptist Church in Texarkana, they send a team up every summer to help facilitate VBS, and he wasn't feeling well and decided to double check his symptoms over at the Lake City Medical Center, and unfortunately he was tested positive. So the result was that Pastor Kevin did test positive for COVID, even though he was fully previously vaccinated. So this is probably the Delta variant. Because Pastor Kevin was the primary leader and coordinator for the VBS function, by definition, he had been in close and regular contact and proximity with many attenders and children who attend First Baptist Church, Lake City. Since this instance has occurred, the elders of First Baptist have decided to suspend church operations for the upcoming week and move to an online service for this Sunday only. I know. This decision is consistent with a similar scenario that took place in 2020, where we decided to suspend in-person church operations for a short time due to multiple First Baptist Church attenders who had been in close contact with a person in town who tested positive for the virus. We won't go into details about that, but we had a little craft night, and a lot of the ladies were there, and we did a similar operation. This is not in any way a church quarantine. Don't get that, and I will clarify some of the myths that are going out there right now, but rather us taking precautionary measures to ensure that we minimize any possible unexpected spreading of the virus by gathering in person. The plan is to resume normal church operations the week of August 8th. Please be in prayer for Pastor Kevin, his youth team, and his family. His symptoms are not severe, but his team had to leave Lake City early, and he will quarantine back in Texarkana. So I just wanted to read that to you, and to those on live stream, if you did not get the email, that's what has happened. That's why we're light. I did know and expect that our out-of-town visitors would show up anyways. You're not on our email train. And so because of that, I want to make sure that you are, if you feel comfortable, that you are indeed welcome. There is also a myth. I found this out this morning on my way here, that there's a rumor in town that I have COVID. I do not have COVID. I don't know where that came from, Perhaps somebody got wind that there was a pastor who had COVID, and by default, here I go, right? But I am perfectly fine, healthy. I'm fine. I don't have any symptoms or nothing. I'm fine. So that is not true, online world. All right. So I just wanted to give that information to you and just kind of give a little bit of explanation. And this decision was made after careful prayer and just wrestling through. And I want to make sure that we do everything that we know how to do. And last thing I would want is for us to ignore out of boastful arrogance and to be able to get called on the carpet later on and think, what could I have done? So many of your pastors and your churches probably would have made a similar decision. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there and just kind of give you an understanding of what's happening or what has happened. Also, because VBS was cut short on Friday, the children, I think it's tentative, but I think the planning has already started. You know how the children rehearse their songs and they do all their melodies and all that stuff for VBS. That will take place immediately after service next Sunday. So that's the plan so far, is to go ahead and we'll bring the children up. They'll be wearing their VBS T-shirts, and after the benediction, we'll go ahead and hear their melodies and songs, and then we'll have the hot dog lunch immediately after service next Sunday. So be mindful of that. Also, just this week, we are suspending regular operations regarding Ladies' Book Club, prayer meeting, the men's breakfast. It'll probably be held at the annex for those who would like to attend that. So one last comment I wanted to bring up, that those of you who are familiar with Frank and Lainey Lake, I was told this morning that Lainey's mother had passed, and she was 105, which is amazing. She was a believer in Jesus Christ, so she is now home with the Lord. It is a beautiful thing, and I think they are back in Georgia, maybe Gainesville. And Frank Lake is out here. Lainey, his wife, is out there with her. She was in hospice. It was a short hospice, which is always good. And I think Frank is making provisions to get out there to see his wife for funeral arrangements. So be in prayer for the Lake family. And that is an amazing thing to think of, that Lainey's mom was present during the Spanish flu. Survived that. And you think, kind of count back 105 years. So just a blessing. She's now home with the Lord, and it is a celebration. And we will be talking more about that today. One also final note that I wanted to make sure is those of you who are joining with us online, we have a celebrity in the house by the name of Jerry Springer. So this is not the Jerry Springer that you saw on TV 20 years ago. But I am very happy that, Jerry, you look pretty good. And so I'm glad that you got released. And it's good to be able to have you and lay my eyes on you again. Did you want to say something? You okay? Okay.
I really appreciated your visitation up there. But you still better than when you saw me.
Okay.